There's absolutely nothing stopping you from coming to Australia on a holiday visa and assisting in an election here. And I think that's absolutely disgraceful and disgusting.
We had something here happen in Adelaide. Adelaide City local council elections were voided because there were Chinese international students who were voting in council elections, and they had to redo the election because of it. This is a serious issue.
Hey, I want to get in the first story. Immigration affecting elections. Scotty, let's just touch on it quickly. Why is immigration affecting elections when you can't vote until you're a citizen? Take us to school, Scotty.
Well, there's a number of seats in Australia that are heavily affected by the migrant communities within those seats. Like take Tony Burke's seat of, where he is, for example. The name eludes me, but 28% of the population in that seat are Muslim, and I think about 38 or 40% of the actual seat itself have an ethnic origin background. They weren't born in Australia. So I have this argument made consistently that you must be an Australian citizen to vote. Yes, that's correct, you must be. But there's nothing stopping you from volunteering to assist in an electoral campaign if you're a permanent resident, a temporary visa, someone here on holidays. There is absolutely nothing stopping you from working as a volunteer. Now, we know that a bunch of these people come from low trust societies into Australia, and that ethnically it does them great favour to be able to muster bodies on the day when it comes to voting, and in the weeks leading up to pre-polls as well. It's hard to get people to man these things. But these communities are tight, they work together, and they have a common interest. And so we can talk about foreign influence or foreign interference in elections, but I think we need to have a closer look at the people that are also volunteering for and helping out these campaigns. And I think there needs to be closer scrutiny on that. And I've done a bit of research around this as well. And there's absolutely nothing stopping you from coming to Australia on a holiday visa and assisting in an election here as a volunteer, provided you're not paid. And I think that's absolutely disgraceful and disgusting. And then when you look at the top 5 seats in New South Wales that have the highest proportion of migrants, with the exception of Dai Lee's seat, they're all Labor-held seats. And Dai Lee was a Vietnamese ethnic origin who was up against another Vietnamese ethnic origin for the ALP. And so with Victoria coming up in the state election and New South Wales state elections, not long after, we know now, and now that our eyes are open and now that we're looking at what's going on around us, that there is some nefarious shit going on with these elections. And I think this is something that needs to be watched a lot closer. And I think we can make laws until the cows come home, but the reality is enforcing those laws is almost pointless these days because it's hard to enforce them. But how do we prevent this type of stuff from happening? I don't know if anyone else has got any experience or thoughts around that, but I think it's a topic that needs to be pushed on hard.
Yeah, I wonder how you, and George, your thoughts come back in a second, but I wonder how you would actually, police it without manpower itself from the other side. If people can reflect on what happened in the election in 2024 with Donald Trump in America, they had to spend an absolute fortune on election integrity because of what happened in 2020. So they had to have lawyers on the ground, volunteers, by the thousands in every place, people, what do you call it, scrutiny, counting scrutiny vote, or whatever you call those people, watching other people count, stuff like that. So I don't know how you get around it. You need one for one. You need someone watching the people who you believe are helping the other side and nefarious. So it just takes so much manpower. I don't know what the way around it to fix it is. I don't know if there's going to be a quick fix to it, but I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that, George.
Look, I'm very passionate about this subject because we had something here happen in Adelaide where Adelaide City local council elections, we were voided because it turns out there were Chinese international students who were voting in council elections and doing it by the thousands, from what I remember. Maybe fact check me on that. But that was taken to court by Alexander Hyde, who actually won, and they had to redo the election because of it. So this is a serious issue. We have foreign interference in our elections. We had Chinese foreign interference in an election here in South Australia. So yes, it's a serious issue, and if it's happening in local council, who knows what's happening in state council? In state parliament and federal parliament, we don't know how far this corruption goes. So, we should all be very careful around these topics. And I don't think it's responsible that we have people from different countries coming into our country and having an impact on our elections. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's a sign of weakness, and it just emphasizes how weak this nation has become when we're letting people who are not even born here or part of this nation do that. It's the actual disgrace. So,
Edward, I know you had a bit of a nightmare there sorting things out on your end. For those watching, you're probably going, what happened? Something just happened because we lost Scott. Edward is now in place. There's been a clear edit. There's been a lot happening in between, but don't worry, you haven't missed anything, people watching. But I need to explain to Edward, we're actually talking about the idea that immigration and the levels of it and all that are actually having effect on elections. And then the counter argument is, well, hang on, you can't vote unless you're a citizen. And Scotty Challen's kind of piece is, well, you can get involved though. And because you've got sheer numbers, you can apply labour to a campaign, which we all know is important, having people on the ground, like boots on the ground, people handing out flyers, people door knocking, all those things that you can do, which they are doing. Have you got any thoughts around, campaign integrity and immigrants being involved? First, I'll ask you, do you think they should even be allowed to be involved?
Look, it's probably not. Probably not. I would say the bigger issue, though, is these sectarian voting blocs that are forming across the country, and those are people who can actually vote legally because they are either permanent residents with that right or they're citizens. So that's really problematic, is when you've got these Muslim, these Hindu, these Sikh voting blocs, which are generally foreign to our country, and they're having an influential say on the policy of the government. I mean, the Home Affairs Minister is beholden to his electorate, which is 30% Muslim, in Tony Burke, that is. So that's a huge problem. But yeah, in terms of political involvement of non-citizens, you'd like to see stronger control over that. But I think it can perhaps become a bit of a distraction from the bigger thing, which is our elections are completely compromised because demographics are destiny. And we've seen that in the US, we see it in the UK, and we're going to see it more and more here in Australia if we don't get a hold of the root problem, which is mass immigration from foreign cultures. But yeah, on this issue, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer. There shouldn't be much involvement, if any, from non-citizens.
Yeah, I need to probably just clarify what I said. I'm talking about non-citizens, not just immigrants can't vote. Yeah, non-citizens. We still haven't defined what an Australian is in general. We'll come back to it. But did you have any thoughts, Edward, because it cut out for you at the start, but I was asking the boys if they'd seen that Vigilante Citizen movie yet. Have you had a chance to, I wanted to get your take. Have you seen any of it, any clips or?
I saw a clip. It was a pretty violent one. I'm keen to watch it. This has come out. I know Elon Musk has, posted it far and wide as well, and it's sort of captured the attention of so many. Give a bit of a background on it.
We kind of chatted a little bit about it. We kind of touched on the topic that might be just this major psyop, the fact that they cancelled it. We actually got sidetracked. We started off talking about that. The word psyop was mentioned, and then we ended up on Carl Stefanovic and Kyle Sanderlands, so we kind of got a little bit sidetracked with it. But the idea, I guess, is that this movie comes out. It's heavy on the sentiment of, it comes against this story of this Islamic kid or these Muslim kids raped this girl, and then that's kind of like one of the subplots of the thing. And then there's other things going on in the area, and there's this vigilante citizen who's just wiping people out. That's kind of the gist of it. And his whole message that he drives home, probably like, I reckon it's said 6 or 7 times in the movie, is he's like, I do this for you until you learn to do it for yourself. And it's this constant push of like, go and take matters into your own hands. I'm going to keep doing it until you go and take matters into your own hands and do it yourself. Yeah, it's pretty full on. I mean, the reason I was asking other boys is what they thought about is how it makes you feel. And whenever a movie makes you feel, it makes you feel like that because they want you to feel that. So you'll never watch a movie and feel a certain way and it not be the feeling they want you to feel. Like, they're very good at making sure that what you feel was their plan. And so when you watch a movie like this and you feel like being the hero, you're like, you know what, maybe we should be doing this. Maybe we should go out and commit acts of violence. Like, that's what people will be thinking. When I watched it, for sure, it will create people to do this. George's take earlier was like, maybe they just want people to go out and start getting crazy. Like, that's the whole point. Like, it's this propaganda to get people emotional enough to go, let's go commit acts of violence. Hey, Scotty, we're just touching back on the vigilante citizen again. We just touched on that for Scott. But yeah, that's where we're at. I've just given the viewers a bit of an update. It's been chaotic in the back end. You might not be able to tell by the edit, but we've been losing Scotty, losing Edward. We had a whole other session at the start that I've actually separate to this. It's probably going to be on Patreon only, where George just threw a hand grenade in and we went deep on some theological stuff before we even got into the politics. We were just kind of closing out, Scotty, this idea around the immigration stuff. I don't know if George has touched on it yet, but Edward's had a bit of a say. George, do you have anything to add on this immigration stuff, the integrity about it?
No, I'm just saying that there is. I'll just restate the point before. We've seen it now in court being battled with the election here at the Adelaide City Council, where there was foreign interference in a council election. So where international students are coming here and they're voting on council elections, it's an absolute disgrace, and it needs to be stamped out immediately. And it has luckily won in the court. And it's been overturned, and they did the by-election for Central Ward. So I'm very happy to hear that. So justice was served, but I'm not sure what's happening in New South Wales or Victoria. I'm sure that stuff's happening there quite a bit. So it needs to be looked at.